Greetings, one and all, to the most cursed, most cringiest corner of the internet. A YouTube channel content creator actively alienating everyone, in both the analog and digital world. Well, welcome and good evening, wonderful dice of all alignments. I am Lunar D8. So I couldn't just accept Xian's seemingly logical viewpoint. Admitting the existence of a darker side of the damn conflict would be rude to Mion, who spoke of it so highly. One more thing, the police probably don't know this. There's proof that from someone from Hinamizawa committed these crimes, and the people of Hinamizawa know it. Yeah, what? Xian rebukes me to keep my voice down. So sorry? But this proof, what is it? It's the fact that one person dies and one more person disappears. One more person disappears? Did that mean that someone besides the one who died from the curse was a sacrifice? What do you mean by disappear? They just vanish and you never see them again? That's right. Suddenly, and without a trace. As she spoke, Xian pretended to do a trick with her hands, like she were making a magician's hat disappear. One dies a mysterious death and one disappears, never to be seen again. A strange vanishing act. But then why? How does that equate to someone from Hinamizawa being the culprit? Well, actually, Hinamizawa has this one really old legend. It's about how people offer sacrifices to Yoshiro-sama to calm his wrath. Sacrifices? Yes. They say they used to wrap a living person up in a bamboo mat and let them slowly sink down into the bottomless swamp. Takano-san, though explaining something pretty terrible, has a look of glee on her face as she did so. As far as I can glean from the literature, it actually took 3 days and 3 nights for them to sink. See, even though people a long time ago liked symbolism, as the body sunk, Oyashiro-sama's anger would be quelled. Both were submerged into the deep. He? Takano-san was the only one laughing at this. Was she telling a joke or something? Xian didn't move to deny it, but I felt a difference in temperature between her cool expression and Takano-san's. This whole conversation, well, I think you can imagine after hearing it, but it's the secret history of Hinamizawa. Everyone who has been in Hinamizawa for a long time knows it, but they don't talk about it. Takano-san's not from here, but she knows quite a lot. She really likes local history, folk legends, stuff like that. She learned about it all by herself, too. I'm really not all that amazing, just curious, that's all. Like a child. I just want to see scary things for the fun of it. Tomotaki-san laughed, a little bit embarrassed. But wait a minute. What does that mean, the other person who disappears during the incidents? You're saying they offered us a sacrifice? Yeah. Xian answers in one word, before anyone else can speak. Someone dies, then someone disappears. Well, whether they actually get sacrificed or not is a different issue, but every time something happened in the past, one person died, and one other person disappeared. For example, the first one, where the damn site manager was killed, apparently one of the people responsible for that still hasn't been arrested. Couldn't that just mean he managed to get away? I don't see why we should treat him as a sacrifice. Well, that's basically what I think too. There was also the year after that, when the leader of the damn proponents. You said he fell from a cliff and died while on vacation, right? Apparently his wife fell as well. The police investigated fervently, but they were never able to find the wife's corpse. The river under the cliff was actually pretty high at the time, though. She could have just been buried under the sand at the bottom of the same lake. Some lake downstream or something. The perpetrator of a dismemberment like that wouldn't want to be caught, so they'd desperately run away and hide, too. I thought I heard cases where the corpse wouldn't serve as a person drowned in a swelled river like that. She vanished because of an unfortunate accident, but I still don't see the connection to sacrifices. We took each of the past incidents in turn. None of the disappearances evoked that terrifying of image. The year after that, when the priest suddenly falling ill is much clearer, his wife left a suicide note. They found it in their house the night the priest died. It said something about the lines of her quelling Oishiro-sama's wrath through her death. The curse it seems to turn up in this one, though. Well, we may never know the truth of the matter. The swamp the wife drowned herself in was giant, bottomless one Takano mentioned before. The police investigated it, all they could find were several of her possessions. They never found the corpse. The police suspect it was a faked suicide, and they're still investigating it now. Someone dies every year, and in the same way, someone goes missing every year. Is she trying to tell me that everyone who vanished was kidnapped by some extremely efficient means and dumped into the bottomless swamp still alive, and drowned to death? But a curse. That's unbelievable in its own right. And the next year, what was that, the damn opponent's sister-in-law? She was killed? And the same way someone disappeared? Disappeared. It was a boy around my age named Satoshi Hajo. He's the nephew, by marriage, the woman who killed an older brother of Satoko. She uncut him with a slightly strong tone of voice. She knew the boy who disappeared pretty well, at least. That's the vibe I was getting. Well, that about sums everything up. One person always dies, and one person always suddenly disappears. Leaving the suddenness aside, the fact that each incident involved one person disappearing, so that means the first person who dies is because of Oishiro-sama's curse, and the second person who vanishes is because the villagers sacrificed them. Is that it? Kei-chan, there is no curse. Somebody kills the first person under the guise of the curse, and someone takes away the second person to be a sacrifice. But Shion, that means the criminal is in the village. That's what I've been guessing from the start. It's pretty shocking, though, you know? We live in the Showa period. It's kinda hard to believe people are committing murder like it's nothing, using some ancient justifications, huh? It didn't have anything to do with our discussion, but I got the feeling that maybe Shion didn't like Hinamizawa very much. Mion enjoyed talking about Hinamizawa and its epic tales, so she had been avoiding talking about Oishiro-sama's curse, which didn't paint Hinamizawa in a good light, no matter how you looked at it. She was trying not to give you a bad impression of the village. So she didn't say anything. She, on the other hand, was somehow different. She wasn't rejecting the concept of curse to purge Hinamizawa with a bad impression, but rather because of the strongly belief that a member of the village was the criminal behind this. Her convictions seemed a bit removed from the tight sense of community held by the people of Hinamizawa. Once upon a time they looked so alike you could mistake one for the other, but talking to her now, I was getting a powerful feeling that Shion had a completely different personality from Mion. Than everyone else, they all think someone from Hinamizawa did it, right? Neither Shion nor Takano-san answered that. The deafening silence told me all that needed to be said. Then let me ask another question. If someone Hinamizawa is the culprit, then who is it? Neither Shion nor Takano-san had a reply to that question either. Though it may have been rude to ask, I had hoped they would have one. The reason I asked was to argue that their explanation that the culprit was Hinamizawa was nothing more than one possibility. Shion caught on my plan. She gave a pained smile at my petty spite and opened her mouth to speak. All I said really just amounts to circumstantial evidence anyway. If any one of us knew who really was, we'd have gotten them into police hands already, as would anybody. Then what about Takano-san? She too smiled dryly as Shion had opened her own mouth. Well, I'd like to clear one thing up. I'm not a detective or anything, alright? In honesty, I'm not really interested in who the culprit is. Takano-san, you sure are a handful. Tomotaki-san gives a bitter laugh at her surprising opinion on the matter. You see, I dislike cruel and atrocious ancient traditions and fairy tales. I only enjoy them from a curious onlooker's perspective. So even for this string of incidents, it's not so much finding out who the culprit is, but enjoying thinking about how the old traditions displayed by the incidents themselves still seem to have some pretty deep roots around here. Though she described herself as nothing more than a curious onlooker, her smile was as sharp as the tip of a blade. Women like her felt very strange and a little scary to me. Maybe it's just that I was in fearful awe of the person whose emotions I couldn't comprehend. Well, I don't think any of this is interesting at all. The Watanagashi festival is coming up tomorrow, but I don't want anyone to die or disappear. Tomorrow, huh? That's right. It had completely slipped my mind. The string of murder incidents people attributed to Oshiro-sama's curse, it wasn't over. If last year's incident wasn't the end, then tomorrow night at the festival, would someone die and someone disappear? I do wonder who will die tomorrow and who will disappear, though. Takano said, running a comb through her hair with elegant movements, with a thin smile and a voice that nearly made me shudder. She almost looked like she was enjoying the thought of the incidents that could happen tomorrow. Then, out of the blue, we heard a loud round of applause. They seemed to be ending the drinking party early. Right, I was making Mion wait this whole time, wasn't I? I should go back to her soon. You're teasing the kid too much, Takano-san. Now Keiichi thinks it's all true. Hey, I apologize. It's that bad habit of mine again, said Takano-san, sticking out her tongue bashfully. The strangeness in her expression was nowhere to be found. When Takano-san sees an innocent child like you, she can't help wanting to poke fun at them. It's a real bad habit. Keiichi-kun, you listened to everything so earnestly that she ended up getting carried away. Unlike Takano-san, Tomitaki-san seemed like a totally normal person with common sense. They were apologizing after realizing what kind of impression they'd given me. It's fine. It's not like I'd become paranoid and, start carrying a baseball bat around to prevent people from murdering me or something. If it made you harbor any bad impressions of Hanamizawa, then we apologize for it. Geez, Jiro-san. You apologize too, Takano-san. Tell him you're sorry for scaring him. Takano-san and Tomitaki-san were arguing and messing around. The strained air around us had already dissipated. Kei-chan, you should get going soon, too. Mion is the jealous type. If she sees me, she'll probably start a fight, so I'll just be going home. Really? Then I'll go see what Mion's doing and apologize for making her wait, I guess. Sorry for being such a nuisance, Keiichi-kun. Could you tell Mion-chan we're sorry for borrowing you for so long? Ah, yes, I don't think telling her I will make her feel any better, but sure. Tomitaki-san and Takano-san, sitting next to each other, both began to chuckle. Okay then, Kei-chan. Let's try and run into each other at tomorrow's festival. We'll see each other. I mean, it's us we're talking about after all. We'll be making so much trouble it'll be hard for you not to find us. Shia and I said our goodbyes to Tomitaki-san and Takano-san. Before we could leave, Takano called out to us. Thanks for listening so earnestly to what I had to say. You're just so good at listening, I had a great time talking to you. Good at listening? No, not at all. I was just in a state of perpetual bewilderment from all of the shocking topics being thrown at me one after another. Did you like my story today? Well, it was pretty interesting. Then I'll tell you some more sometime, okay? There's a lot of pretty interesting legends and fairy tales about Hanamizawa. Of course, a lot of strange and creepy ones, too. I'll choose a bunch of my favorites and tell you about them. I was kind of happy, but kind of worried. I can't help but smile dryly and scratch at my head. Keiichi-kun, you can go now. Takano-san is just messing with you. They say goodbye, and again, and run off. I heard Tomitaki-san call out behind him in a clear voice that we should see each other tomorrow at the festival. When I went to the tent Mion was waiting for me in, she was nowhere to be found. I made her wait so long maybe she got mad and went home. After asking some adults passed by, I heard that she went home, talking to some relatives. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, but my regret for having made Mion wait wasn't enough to triumph over the impression Takano-san Chion's uncanny story left on me. Serial murder incidents had happened 4 years in a row. Would tomorrow's events make the 5th? And the possibility that someone from Hanamizawa was carrying this all out under the guise of the curse. The queer tradition of ritual sacrifice entirely unbecoming of the Showa period we lived in. I regretted it a little, though it was too late. If none of those creepy stories had anything to do with me, then I should have let Mion pull me away from that crowd. I felt a little ashamed about letting my cheap curiosity get the better of me. You have so many fucking tips. A little elbow grease. From the Scrapbook 1. Oya Shiro-sama's curse. In the ancient Onagafushi village, the anger of Oya Shiro-sama, his curse, was feared above all. However, it was seldom stated anywhere what eventually happens and what sort of divine judgment curse befalls them when Oya Shiro-sama is angry. From various reports, all hell will break loose. Demons will come flooding out. The miasma from hell will flood outward and kill every villager, letting not a single one escape. The ones evoking images of the village being annihilated stand out the most. These terrifying ideas of divine punishment are in alignment with many of the other religious beliefs regarding the apocalypse, hell, and it's easy to imagine they are just ways of convincing people to obey the teachings in order to prevent such an end. The conditions for inciting Oya Shiro-sama's wrath are likely the same as the taboos in Onagafushi village. I believe that when an act was performed that violates one of these taboos, Oya Shiro-sama was termed angry, and in order to quell his anger, they would perform the aforementioned sacrificial ritual. The human sacrifice ritual. The sacrificial ritual was a simple drowning, involving plunging sacrifices in Onagafushi swamp, which was considered hallowed. Of the ritual's Onagafushi ritual, this was unique, and the sacrifice would sink slowly over the long course of 3 days and 3 nights. I believe that it wasn't so much the killing of the sacrifice that was important, but rather the symbolizing of them sinking, as the submerging of Oya Shiro-sama's anger. For that purpose, they must have had a passion for learning various methods for keeping the sacrifice from sinking too quickly, to force them to sink more slowly. Unfortunately, as far as I can tell from the records, these methods were not recorded. My thoughts are that they must have used logs or some similar material to create a raft, then set up a scaffold out there, hung the sacrifice with ropes, and let them sink little by little over time into the swamp. However, if that were the case, it would not be strange if the ritual implements used for such a ceremony were honored as holy and enshrined somewhere. Implements used for the ritual. Ritual tools utilized for ancient religious ceremonies are commonly referred to as implements or ritual implements, and even now some of them are enshrined on the property of Furude Shrine and the three families. However, the identifiable tools are all decorative, and none appear to have been used in rituals, governing the dark side of the Onagafushi village. As the Edo era came to a close and many traditional rituals were they lost as well, or perhaps buried in the darkness? I don't believe so. Both the implements used on the night of the feast in Onakakushi and those used during the sacrificial ceremony must still exist, enshrined away from the eyes of the masses. Without a doubt, they exist here today at this very moment in Hinamizawa. Also, I'm nearly certain where they've been enshrined. What once looked steadfastly has, for some reason, changed this year to a cheap-looking padlock. He may have been able to do something about such a lock. However, it is not far from the assembly hall, nor is it ever far from the presence of people. However, I will not give up. The night when it becomes a blind spot to every villager in Misawa is coming soon. Soon it will be Watanagashi. Festivals around the corner. Rabble, rabble, rabble! Hey, are you worn out already? Tomorrow's the real thing. We're gonna be partying until tomorrow, until the very end of it. Oh, got it? Got it. I'll give it everything I've got. Wahaha. Alright then, youth is the greatest. Good work, everyone. Tomorrow is Watanagashi at last. Let's get some shut-eye and save our energy for tomorrow night. Tomorrow is finally Watanagashi. Festivals are split into two groups, those who enjoy them and those who support them. The former only need to prepare their minds, but the latter need not only do that, but they painstakingly crafted plans and preliminary arrangements. While the general majority attending goes about enjoying the festival without a care in the world, will be strained the whole way through. Why? You sure as hell know why, because the beer after everything's over is the best damn beer you ever have. Wahaha. At times like these, it's best to have energetic, physically fit people. It wouldn't be worth it if you don't do your best until the end, enjoying the whole way. Oh, he's here. Oishi-san came in. Everyone hurried to stand up. Hello, everyone. Excellent work out there. Ah, you can be at ease. Thank you, sir. Not even my seniors, who usually talk about themselves, can hold a candle to Oishi-san. We all bow as if we were one of those cheering squads of old. Kuroda Oishi, a detective just waiting to retire, who doesn't pay much mind to rules and regulations and doesn't do too much in the way of real work. He looks like a rotten old man with a penchant for dirty jokes. My seniors, though, tell me he was a real fighter in his younger days, and that he may or may not have quite a heroic legend trailing behind him. Anyway, he surely had much more dignity and presence in the room than the section chief who came in with him. Everyone, I really thank you for your hard work on the preparations for the festival tomorrow. Everyone present stands upright and lends their ear to the chief's directions. We're on heavy alert for any thrill-seeking criminals expecting another incident like last year. Need all of you to focus your energy as much as possible in your missions to prevent any crimes from happening. Yes, sir. Of course, it would be best if nothing happened. However, everyone, please assume that an incident will in fact occur. Prevention is number one, but it probably won't be enough. This year, too, someone will die and someone will disappear. There's really no doubt about it. Laughter noises I don't know how to make. Everyone apart from this section chief smiled painfully. Oishi-san, that won't do. We need to be more serious about this. The important part isn't to get past the night of the festival. It is to be able to quickly, swiftly, and aggressively pursue whatever does happen tomorrow night. I won't tolerate anything less than your best. Clench those cheeks. We're gonna rip all the skin off the ghost of Oyashiro-sama's curse. Yeah! Ow, my eyes. Wah, it's KH-kun. Good morning. Good morning. Rena was ecstatically waving her arms at me. I didn't get to read the rest of that. Already brimming with energy. What do you mean good morning? It's already evening. Just say hello or something. But this is the first time I've seen you today. Saying good morning is right? I got it. Okay then. Good morning it is. Good morning, Rena. I grabbed Rena's head and rubbed it with my hand. She squirmed, reveling in the motion like a cat. Hey, Akei-chan. Sorry about yesterday. I left without telling you. Ah, no, it's my fault. Sorry for making you wait so long. Are you talking about setting up the festival yesterday? How was it, KH-kun? Did you do your job properly? The slight muscle pain throughout my body and the sluggish movements were already obvious. I did great. I'm pretty worn out, though. I grinned dryly, and the three of us break out into laughter. Where's Satoko and Rika-chan? Are we meeting up with them at the festival? Yep, Rika-chan's actually been there since yesterday, because she had an important job. Thanks, Satoko-chan stayed with her, so they're already at the shrine. Right, I just remembered today was Rika-chan's big performance. She'd been practicing especially hard for this day. As her friend, I needed to make sure I went and cheered her on. Alright, let's go right away. Yeah! As we got closer to the shrine, we started passing by more people and seeing a lot of parked cars. It began to get noisier, too. I thought I could hear something like a bond dancing song. Without being able to restrain my impatience, I dashed up the entire flight of stone stairs. KH-kun, you're going too fast. Wait for me! Man, Kei-chan, you're such a little kid. Whoa, the shrine grounds, they were packed with people. It was a festival if I ever saw one. Wow, they went all out this year too. Amazing, amazing. They're coming from Hinamisawa. Ha, the bedridden old man from Kimiyoshi branch family is here too. I think the old guy went from home to Tanagashi last year and stayed in bed ever since. Yeah, there were a lot of villagers here that I didn't really know. They must have all been pouring in just for today. Oh, it's Satoko-chan. Hey! Oh, if it isn't everyone. Yes, hello to you all. Yo, Satoko! There's a lot of people today. Don't get lost in the crowd, okay? Well, who do you think you're talking to? Satoko, too, seems somehow energetic. Of course, I'm the same way. Huh? Where's Rika-chan? She still has free time, doesn't she? Rika was giving her respects to the mayor and other important people. She shall come before long. I see Rika-chan is the stripe maid for today's festival after all. It's probably a pain for her to say hello to all the elders. It really is a pain. Hello, everyone. Oh, Rika-chan, I just want to take you home. Rika-chan wore an immaculate shrine maiden outfit that looked fresh off the shelves. It was perfect fit for her somehow mystical appearance. How does it fit? It's not too long, is it? My grandma gave me some safety pins just in case the sleeves are too long. It's alright. It really is comfortable. As she spoke, she began to do some twists and stretches. It's great, it's so cute, oh! There was approximately one person here getting a nosebleed from watching Rika-chan move. Keiichi-kun, don't you think she's cute? Don't you? If you don't, then she'll be all mine, and I'll take her home with me. I think she's really cute. Totally cool. Enough that I want to pretend to be her big brother or dad and take pictures with her. If we take a picture from two different places and make it stereoscopic, we can eat or rather drink, stare at a real-life Rika-chan at our house whenever we want. That sounds great. That sounds fantastic. Rena's eyes and minds glittered with stars as our noses bled and we drooled. Rika, you'd best stay away from them. Yes, or I might be locked away in a basement somewhere. Ha 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 ha, you look like you're enjoying it though, Rika-chan. Me, you're being harsh. We all laughed together again. Okay, let's not hang around here. Let's get to the festival. There's not much time left until Rika-chan's big debut. You're right, great. Let's go, everyone. Yeah. Yo, if it isn't the daughter of Sonozaki, eat up. The yokosoba is packed full of pork. This year, we filled it up as much as we could. We could even put in fried calamari. Gotcha, old-timer. The yakisoba this year looks quite an achievement. You have squid too. You put a ton of time into this, don't you? Wow, it's tasty, it's tasty. Yeah, the squid is delicious, but the aroma is just fantastic. It wonderfully compensates for how soft it tends to be. There's a delightful amount of squid and pork in it too. Yep, not bad at all, I say. Kei-chan, you sound like you could walk into a cooking program and become the host. Yeah, when I see Keiichi-kun acting like it's so good, it somehow tastes even better. I don't discriminate among delicious food, so anything that I say is tasty has got to be worth trying out, right? Then Keiichi, please give us your opinion of this yakisoba again. I'll do it in 2 words. Absolutely scrumptious. If I had a second stomach, I'd buy another one right now. Having heard my 3-star rating, a whole line of people suddenly formed in front of the yakisoba stand. Wow, that's amazing. Kei-chan said it was so good that a little crowd started to form. Not bad. There was nothing to brag about, but I still decided to stick out my chest and put on airs. Oh, is that so? Then perhaps I shall try it out. Mister, could I perchance bother you for some takoyaki? Satoko bought a stick of takoyaki balls, a fried octopus, from an adjacent stand. After blowing on it, put one of them into her mouth. How is it, Satoko-chan? If you give it a good rating, then Rena will buy one too. Chomp chomp, chew chew, gulp. Now it's time for Hinazawa, Michelin judge, Satoko Ojo, to give her impressions. Meh. Though she was all for it a moment ago, Satoko hesitated to give her thoughts. Hey now, what's the matter? Everyone else takes one of their own and puts it into their mouth. Huh? Rena got gypped. Gypped? Mine's bad too. There's no octopus in it. This takoyaki vendor. Death to the takoyaki-less vendor! It's like, Could this be some sort of summer festival only octopus-free takoyaki stand? It's like, what's this? It's chickenless fried chicken! Burn it down! An evil takoyaki stand that skimped on octopus because they figured it would make them good money today. Okay, so we figured out who Ujarasawa's curse is coming after. By the way, apparently in Japan there's this thing called karaage that's a bit popular. Basically, what it is it's like fried chicken but different. Let me see if I can remember the exact difference. I think the difference is that one of them is seasoned and then fried, and the other is fried and then seasoned. But I really don't understand the difference. I think I've tried karaage once at like a mall. I thought it was really good. It definitely, I mean, it's still technically fried chicken. It's still chicken that was fried, but it tastes very, very different than what you would get at like a KFC. It's very different. I don't know how to describe it any differently. I know I'm doing a terrible job as a Michelin chef here. But anyway. But it's just, I'll say this. I think fried chicken tastes good. But I also think karaage tastes good too. But while they're both definitely, you can taste that they're fried and you can taste that they're chicken. And you can taste a lot of seasoning in both. They do taste very different. But I don't know how to describe that taste. All I can say is this. If you like fried chicken, then I think you would love karaage. And I think you would also find that it tastes very, very different. But also very good. So all I can say is that if you ever have the chance, I think it's like Kurage. If you ever have the chance, I think you should try it. Mine has some. Yeah, it's pretty good considering there's octopus in it. How am I supposed to explain this octopus-free takoyaki is any good? Everyone wondered about that. Our quizzical looks seem to be drawing equally dubious stares from the people in line. How about this? Takoyaki without any octopus is really healthy. And even people who don't like octopus can eat delicious takoyaki. After hearing that, the several surprised guests left the line. It had the exact opposite effect. No one goes to a festival to eat healthy food. If you wanted to eat healthy, you would stay home and just eat like cans of tuna and some chopped onions. People go to festivals to eat like deep fried fucking Oreos and elephant ears. And no, if you're not familiar with elephant ears, it is not an actual fucking elephant ear. It's deep fried crispy bread with lots of cinnamon and sugar. I'll say this. If done well, it's delicious. If done poorly, like if you don't cook at the right temperature, it is the most gross, disgusting, soggy abomination to ever walk the earth. And everyone's like, what kind of fucking tasty treats at a festival are walking? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just saying, there is nothing healthy at a festival. Like, I'm pretty sure the worst selling thing at any festival would be something that's healthy. If anyone was really caring about their health, they would have brought something with them to the festival. Because it's just, everything is fried. It is not where you go to be healthy. A self-inspired take on takoyaki in which you can clearly taste the simple flavors of flour, green onions, and pickled ginger. The unaffected taste is bolstered by the absence of octopus. This fried chicken, the lack of chicken really brings out the original recipe flavor. Then again, imagine like the Cartman's bed, like, it's just a bucket of fried chicken skin. That'd probably put you on the toilet forever. I'm trying to remember what the different, because sometimes people wonder about certain American flavors, like ranch or pizza. And so I guess the question is this. What kind of things would you add to food to give, the flavor of ranch to something, or with the flavor of pizza to something? Well, I'd say the flavor of ranch, if you're going to add a ranch type flavoring to something, it would be garlic, onions, chives, salt, pepper, sugar, sour cream, maybe some buttermilk, or maybe buttermilk powder. Maybe some celery. But I'd say ranch is predominantly just, onions, garlic, chives, green onions, sour cream, buttermilk, and some salt, pepper, and sugar. Pizza? I'd say you'd need some sort of tomato-based powder. Salt, a tiny bit of sugar, some onion, and maybe just the tiniest hint of garlic, coriander, oregano, basil, definitely basil. Maybe some fennel seeds? If so, I'd say just a tiny bit, though. Maybe, like I said, though isn't fennel seeds the same thing as coriander? I can't remember. But I know coriander and oregano would be important. So I'd say if you're making a pizza seasoning, a little bit of sugar, coriander, fennel, coriander, oregano would be important. But I would say the most important seasonings would be, and maybe a tiny bit of garlic. But I'd say if you're making a pizza seasoning, if you had to limit it to 4, I suppose we should try to do, obviously it's more complex, but if you had to limit it to 4 things, the most predominant ingredients and everything else an accent, the 4, main flavors you'd want is you'd want tomato powder, you'd want onion powder, you'd want basil, and you'd want, I would say, mozzarella cheese or some Parmesan or some kind of cheese. I would say predominantly mozzarella. You can add in a few other flavors of cheese, types of cheese if you want. Most pizzas are predominantly mozzarella for cheese, though some do pure mozzarella, some will mix in maybe 90% mozzarella, 10% cheddar, or other things. And of course, sometimes there's stuff that's a mix 6 different types of cheese. But I would say predominantly the most popular way of doing it is 90% mozzarella and 10% of some other type of cheese. Some people will go with cheddar or provolone or Asiago or Munster. Heck, I've even heard of some people using either Gouda or blue cheese, though those would be a little bit more pungent. And of course, I'd say if you went 3 cheese, then more than likely people would probably go 70% mozzarella, 20% cheddar, and then 8% provolone with maybe 2% Parmesan. Though a lot of times people add Parmesan on after as an extra powder too. But yeah, I'd say if you make a pizza flavor, if you had to make a 4 ingredient only seasoning mix, if you had to make 4 ingredient only ranch, I would say onions, garlic, sour cream, and salt. And a 4 ingredient only pizza would be tomato powder, onion powder, basil leaves, and some kind of cheese powder. Or shredded cheese or something. It wasn't half bad after hearing there's no octopus in it clause. Even more people left the line. Rika-chan, any good comments? You can be honest. 400 yen is too much for this. Geh. That was too honest. Even more customers leave the line dealing a lethal blow. There were other takoyaki stands around after all. Well, I mean, we might not want to be doing this. Hey, Satoko, you started all this. Give us your great big turnaround. I cannot do it. How do you expect me to lavish praise upon takoyaki without any octopus in it? Gah, you idiot. Satoko's angry outburst was the finishing blow. Ack, the customers are all gone. Huh? The guy is staring at us. Well, maybe you should have made good food. Why is that? Sigh. There's no saving this crowd. Perhaps I, Keiichimaru, will lend a generous hand. Keiichi-kun, you could do it. We want you to save the takoyaki vendor who didn't put any octopus in. Don't smile as you say something so bitter. Alright, fine. This may be the only chance you'll get to see a pro at work, so watch carefully. I shoved the stick of octopus-less takoyaki and crammed it in my mouth and started vomiting. As before, there wasn't any octopus in it, but Mion had some in it. That was the important point. The man who runs this takoyaki stand truly loves takoyaki in every meaning of the word. No, it could even be said that he adores it. Eh? Everyone gasped in surprise, including the takoyaki vendor glaring at us. This man truly does love takoyaki. Because he loves it, he doesn't want to create half-hearted random ones. Isn't that right? The takoyaki vendor looked down, unsure. Those watching were listening intently, wanting to know why octopus-less takoyaki deserved such a high rating. Keiichi-kun, if he really truly loves takoyaki so much, why did he make the takoyaki with any octopus at all? Is he not betraying that very thing that it's full of takoyaki. He just blended it into a fucking paste. You may be right in one sense. It is a betrayal. However, it is the best compromise this man could find. This man is making real takoyaki today, as he always does. However, only one or two of them on each stick are the real ones. Well, you're right. The one I ate had octopus in it. And considering I did actually have it, it didn't taste bad at all, you know? Right. That was a bona fide takoyaki. And as for the other ones, it was the biggest compromise you could make against the biases of the general populace. We all think there need to be 8 pieces on the stick, or else it's not real takoyaki. Huh? Keiichi, I don't understand what you mean. Why is it one of them is real thing and others are fakes? Why? The secret lies in the octopus. Mister, this octopus, it's true Akashi octopus, isn't it? In recent years, the number of octopuses caught in Akashi has decreased, and their prices have risen drastically. The prices are now so high that you wouldn't think of using them in takoyaki. Then the man who had been looking down this whole time mumbled, "Yeah, that's right. Akashi octopus is very expensive." But this man absolutely had to have the Akashi octopus. He could have bought much worse quality octopus for cheaper, as much as he wanted, and he would have still been able to fool everyone. There are plenty of other scamming takoyaki vendors who claim theirs are from Akashi, even though they're not. But this man wouldn't accept it. He wouldn't tell lies. Akashi octopus are supreme. He would never relinquish this one stubborn conviction. This man loved takoyaki, that's why he never lied. Yet there was one point where he absolutely had to compromise on. What might that be? The number. The popular opinion is that the stick of takoyaki has 80 pieces on it. Even if it's real Akashi, he couldn't charge 400 yen for just one piece, could he? If he didn't have 8 pieces, nobody would buy them. And this man wept over it. In order to make just one true piece, Kagi wouldn't even allow himself through the other 7. The octopus free takoyaki vendor burst into tears. I gently clapped one of his shoulders. No matter what anyone else says, I will never forget how genuine you are. You, sir, are a true vendor of takoyaki. You are the one in the only world who right to call himself that. Clap, 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 clap. As I embraced the shoulders of this man, shedding his many manly tears, those watching delivered a round of applause and moved by my speech. Everyone, I beg you, please eat some of this true takoyaki vintage takoyaki. If we don't treasure this genuine men like this, then how can we protect the true path of the takoyaki? If nobody else will eat them, then I will eat them all. Keiichi-kun was disappeared after that. But he didn't. He wasn't he wasn't kidnapped or anything. He just spent the next 3 weeks on the fucking toilet. Wow, everyone is lining up. Keiichi-kun, you did it, you did it. I think it's more they thought Kei-chan's propaganda speech is interesting, rather than Takoyaki actually looking good. Kei-chan, you could probably sell plain old rocks if you tried. You would go over well at the entrance to the Akihabara station. Rika, I have never heard of this Akihabara. Absolutely stunned at my successful pitch, the guy manning the stall next to this one called out to me. Ow. Hey, you guys. Do that for my sweets, too. Great. You all get the gist of it, right? It is your turn this time, Rena. Okay, I'll do my best. When apricot sweets are cold, they're very, very good. The apricot is sitting so quietly and nice on top of the syrup. Oh, it's so cute. Oh, I take it home. It looks like she lost herself in this midway through. But a girl giving it such natural praise was itself bringing some customers. The line was quickly forming behind Rena. Next up is the Okonomiyaki stand. Satoko, you're up. Rather well. The crunch of the fried tempura butter mixed with the yakisoba is simply to die for, with a huge piece of bacon laid on top. When you bite into it, it all comes flooding out. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Yeah, that's freaking great. Now I want to try some too. Then a huge line formed of my words. What on earth is this? So basically all these onlookers are just following us around to all the stands? When people hear about food from others, and then try it for themselves, it tastes a lot better than it normally would. So that's it. Even Rika-chan was gorging herself on the food, getting sauce on the bib she'd put on to prevent her shrine maiden outfit from getting dirty. Nice. The older guys are getting into it too. Okay, Kei-chan, which one should I do? Right, Mion, you go to the stand next to that. Show them the depths of your power. But Kei-chan, that stall next to that is... Whoops. A goldfish scooping stand. A bit out of our element. No, as club president, I won't flee no matter who or what my opponent is. Let's get started. I look forward to a splendid performance, Mion-san. The onlookers were also watching Mion with hopeful eyes. Welcome, welcome. Here is your next bowl. Okay, here we go. The goldfish are energetic today. They really look delicious. The crunch of the goldfish is like fucking... Small things like these, you could crunch them down. I was joking! I know you are too, but still, I didn't think we both were going to make the same joke. You could crunch them down whole. Mutter, mutter? Mion-san? What in the world are you saying? Mi-chan, you eat them? Did you? Did you eat the one Rena caught last year too? No, I didn't say that like that. Mion's face went red and she shook up immediately in denial. Well, I mean, you just said so yourself that they look really delicious. Yes, you did indeed say so. My sister is omnivorous. She eats anything that can go in her mouth. If they taste good, then maybe I'll try one next time. No, Rika-chan. Don't! You'll get sick! Wait a second. Hey, what the hell? Shion, how long have you been there? Hey, Kei-chan, Mion, everyone, good evening. Where did you come from, Shion? I've been here since the bit with the yakisoba. You were all so loud that I found you right away. Jeez, you've got nothing to do with this, do you? Go somewhere else already. Jeez, Mion, don't treat me so cruelly. Right, Kei-chan? You're okay with me being here, right? She asked, grabbing my arm and pushing her chest into it. Yeah, that definitely would have an effect. Bounce! Exactly! Keiichi-kun, you're a pervert. Your nose is bleeding. When you squish a jelly donut, the jelly comes out, right? It's the same. This isn't something I have any control over. Heh, is that right? We're all familiar that nosebleeding is, euphemism for an erection in anime. Though, when you squish a jelly donut, the jelly comes out. Definitely makes you think of another euphemism. Then will more come out if I squeeze harder? Squeeze. She on her cleavage, it's right up against my chest. Drip. Drip. Yeah. Shion, what the heck are you trying to do? How vulgar. Shion then proceeded to start unzipping. I seem to have misjudged you. What about my flat chest? Rika-chan clasps onto my other arm too. Rub. A plentiful plump feeling on my left shoulder, and the sour sensation of a young, unripe fruit on my right. Ha-how. Boom, boom, bang. Shion, Rika-chan, and our faces, now bruised, fell to the ground, limbs sprawled. Nice job, Rena. Everyone's so dirty. Rena punched me. It really hurts. Rika, you get what you deserve. Sheesh. Now that Shion was here, the energy around us had increased by 120%. Hoo ha ha ha. Your friends are so much fun, Mion. I never get bored of them. Right, if you weren't here, it would be way more fun, I want to stay with you all, but if I continue seducing Kei-chan, my sister looks like she's going to bite my head off. So I'll retreat for now. I'll be back. See you, Mion. Don't be back. Get the salt. Someone get the salt. After teasing her older sister so much, Shion ran away into the crowd of people and disappeared. I feel that I have borne witness to a rare side of Mion-san. When Mi-chan is with Shi-chan, she looks kinda cute. Rena smiled, earning her a whack on the head for Mion. Don't say dumb stuff, let's get to the next stand already. We went about just like that, really noisy and lively to other stands. We were paying money towards the beginning, but midway through the guys running the shops thought we were just too funny, and we ended up being able to fool around without paying much more. Thump. The vigorous sound of a big taiko drum echoed through the air. Thump. I have watched so much anime, I can imagine the exact sound that drum makes. I can't copy it, but I can clearly hear it. Rika, it looks like it's not. Then again, I'm very good at just like that thing where you imagine an apple? I can imagine it very, very well. I can even imagine the sound the apple would make if you threw it into a wall or something. Or you were eating it. Yep, looks like it. Right, it's just about time for Rika-chan to appear on an offertory dance. I'm a little nervous. Believe in yourself. Believe in the me that believes in you. All of your sweat will definitely amount to something, Rika-chan. Mion slapped hard on Rika-chan's back. That's right, you'll do fantastic, Rika. I'll do my best. Yep, that's the spirit. I balled my hand into a fist and raised it into the air. We're rooting for you, Rika-chan. Go for it, yay, remember? Go for it, yay! Rika-chan gave the best smile I'd ever seen, then pivoted on her heels and ran off. Okay, we should get going too. Right, let's go cheer her on. You mustn't. You must keep silent during the performance. I got it, jeez, I rubbed a hand through her hair. She was worried about her good friend up till the end. Then we'd better hurry. All the good spots will be taken. Come on. Mion ran off and everyone else followed a moment later. A large amount of people had already clustered into the tight space to watch the edifying dance. Wow, this is a lot of people. I turned around to look at everyone else, but nobody was there. Where did everyone go? They probably got lost among all these people. Finally, I spotted the back of Mion's head on the other side of this crowd, and it definitely doesn't look like I can get over there. Well, we got separated, no big deal. We can just meet up when Rika-chan's dance is over. I gave up on finding the others and wandered around trying to look for a place where I'd be able to see better. It didn't take long for me to realize I'd have to settle for watching between the heads of people in front of me, though. Thump! Once again, an even louder taiko drum resounded. This one was announced the beginning of the dance. I couldn't see very well, but it seemed like Rika-chan had come on stage with the elders, who were in priestly garb. I heard low exultations of admiration and the seniors rubbing their prayer beads in gratitude. Everyone's heads were in the way, and I couldn't see. It was really frustrating. We should have cut playtime short and come here to get good spots earlier. After Rika-chan intoned the prayer, she took the festival hoe and walked to the pile of quilts stacked on the altar. That's right. The point of the ceremony was to purify bedding and to hold a memorial service, wasn't it? Then the solemn offertory dance began. She had practiced using the mochi-pounding mallet. The awkwardly shaped festival hoe Rika-chan held seemed really heavy. Back and forth, up and down, it was doubtlessly difficult to even lift it in the air. But she sweated and waved, raised and dropped it again and again. She couldn't just deal with it and do it grudgingly. As the shrine maiden, she needed to retain the dignity and solemnity present at this festival. There must be a ton of pressure on Rika-chan's shoulders right now. Damn, why am I cheering her on from a place where I can barely see her? I'm her friend, so I should be right up in the best spot rooting for her. Kei-chan, over here. Someone tugged me lightly on the back of my shirt collar. It was Shion. She beckoned me outside the crowded ring of people. She had a mischievous grin on her face. I took it as her saying she knew a good place nobody else knew of. Shion, what's up? Shh, just be quiet and come with me. After she told me so, she ran into a big detour around the throng. Man, it's great to have someone who knows the lay of the land here at times like this. Impressed, though, I was nearly lost sight of her right away. No more getting separated from me. I ran after her so that I wouldn't be left behind. As I wondered in anticipation what kind of secret spot Shion had in mind, we left the crowd of people and round the back of the shrine grounds. Hey, wait, where are we going? We're getting further and further away. Shh! Just stay quiet and follow me. You'll understand soon. Shion gave me a wink that reminded me of Mion as she said that. No sign of people and not much moonlight. It was dark. We had gotten pretty far away from the crowd of people on the shrine grounds. How are we supposed to see Rika-chan's dance from here? I see. There's some high spots around here, isn't there? Like a rooftop or somewhere we can look down, right? What? Why do we have to climb onto the roof? Well, how are we supposed to see Rika-chan's dance? Did you really want to see Rika-chan's Chama's dance? Kei-chan, could it be that your strike zone is really low? I don't think we're understanding each other here. Weren't you going to show me somewhere I could see Rika-chan's dance from easily? What? Who made that promise? Nah? What's going on? Why me? Why do I always misunderstand Shion? Is it my fault? Am I just reading the wrong things into it? Then why did you call me out way out here? With an expression that indicated she wasn't fooling around, Shion pressed her index finger to my lips and said slowly and quietly, "This place is a dark, dead, empty spot. You can't see it from the festival grounds, and now a male and a female of the same age are all alone together." Eh? Could this be? Shion, she's not planning something crazy again, is she? Shh, look over there. See? Shion whispered, pointing into the dark underbrush. And there we saw two figures. One male, one female. But what's that? Is that? We're right at the scene of a rendezvous, of course. See, look closely. Can you tell who they are? I peered intently into the dark at Shion's suggestion. Oh, it's Tomitaka-san and Takano-san. The two of them were clearly breathing quietly and glancing around to make sure nobody knew they were there, as they crouched before the entrance to a wooden storehouse-like building. Wait, Shion, could this be what you wanted to show me? Kei-chan, you can see Rika-chan's dance any year, but you won't ever get another chance like this, okay? I had thought Sanazaka's sisters each had their own personalities, but at times like this they seemed all too similar. I'm going back. Don't call me for something like this again. Ah, if you move now, they'll see us. At our noisy argument, Takano-san suddenly turned around. Oh my, who might that be? We held our breaths and tried to wait it out, but it seemed like Takano-san was now acutely aware of our presence. She and I had exchanged glances, then gave up and climbed up behind the bush. Well, hello there. The moon sure is beautiful tonight, isn't it? My. But isn't Shion-chan and Maburo-kun? Good evening. Yes, the moon certainly is pretty. What's this, Keichun? You sure are smart. You know that? Having a secret date in a place like this? Then I guess we accidentally interrupted something important, huh? It's fine. I'm sure you have something in your purse that will... You're the ones who are meeting up secretly. Tomoki-san laughed to themselves, and it got my nerves for some reason. Wait, so you two weren't having a little rendezvous then? Of course we weren't. Though I don't dislike the kind of romance. Yeah? Unfortunately, this wasn't the location of a rendezvous either of you would want to see. Sorry for not living up to your expectations. If this wasn't a rendezvous, then what were you doing? Tomoki-san, were you messing around with the padlock on the door just now? Huh? After she said that, I looked at the two of them again. And I definitely saw it. They were hunched in front of a warehouse door, fiddling with a pretty heavy-looking padlock. Guess we've been found out, huh? We were trying to break into the warehouse. But don't tell anyone, alright? Don't tell anyone. Are you thieves or something? I demanded unthinkingly just because of how absent Takano-san was grinning. Nah, never. Thieves are people who steal things, right? It's not like we're trying to take anything out of here. We have a camera. I see. Then why are you trying to unlock the door? This is the forbidden storehouse for the ritual tools. They say only the Furude family and a mere handful of others are allowed in. Forbidden storehouse. I took a few steps back at that and looked at the entire warehouse. It certainly looked like one, built from any signs of people, almost as if in secret. It was filthy, revealing how little it was ever opened, and it was built to be durable, giving it a strange, overpowering impression. Now that I looked at it more closely, it was certainly different than normal warehouses. Everyone's like, what was the purse joke? I was making a joke about them giving us condoms, okay? This place. They're called ritual implements. Basically, this is a warehouse where they store such tools used in rituals. Well, more accurately, maybe it's a temple where implements are enshrined. The ritual hoe Rika-chan is using for the offertory dance was inside here until today. Of course, if anyone but Furude family enters, they bring impurity into it. So absolutely no one is allowed into the inner sanctum. Allowed a single step inside it. It's a sanctuary. Shouldn't we absolutely not be coming to a place like this then? However, Takano-san was wearing a childlike expression of innocent smile at best, and terribly cruel grin at worst. I told you I was researching Hanazawa folktales and legends out of interest in them, didn't I? A lot of answers to questions I'm curious about are hidden away inside here. I've waited all this time until today for this chance. A chance. Everybody's eyes were fixed on the dance at the shrine grounds today. This is the ultimate blind spot. Ha, I see. I didn't know you had lock-picking skills, Tomoki-san. Stop it. I don't want to be doing this, okay? Sorry for taking long on me, but... Oh, thank you, Hiro-chan. I really am grateful. Sheesh. This is the only time I understand Takano-san. I don't want to be sneaking into places like this. You really are a good person, Jiro-san. Clink. Tomoki-san undid the padlock and placed it to the side. It's open. Thank you. At long last. Takano-san gulped with an unusually excited air about her. She gave the heavy door a shove. The sharp smell of mold and dust flowed out from the gap in the doors. I had claimed curses didn't exist, but in this situation, I could believe in them. If we went into such a holy place with our shoes on, it felt like it could be punished somehow. How about it? Your accomplices, too. You came all the way here, so why not come in and take the tour? It'll be a little field trip to a museum of precious cultural artifacts that conceal the secret history of Hinamizawa, and it's only open today, hee hee. We're not accomplices or anything. Aren't you interested, though? Come on, let's take a peek. Shion said, predictably linking her arm with mine. But we definitely shouldn't be doing this. This is a holy warehouse, isn't it? You said ritual influence, right? I really feel like we shouldn't go in. I'm a part of the Zanazaki family, so I have a good guess as to what we'll find in there, but I want you to see it too, Kei-chan. You want to show something to me? I thought it was just a ploy, but Shion's eyes looked entirely serious. Of course, she was the sort who could lie with a straight face. Of course, I was an average boy, too. My curiosity was at least twice that of a normal person. Sleeping forbidden treasures, never to leave this warehouse. Chances like this don't come around too often. If I had to choose, then I want to see. Until the locked doors open, though, I don't know about this. If you're not interested, Kitchen, then you can leave now. I think you'll wonder about it later, though. Tomotaki-san spoke after listening to our discussion, himself having sat down on the stairs to take a short rest. I'll keep watch here. Go in and check it out with them. I'm not too interested, but it might be pretty interesting for a young guy like you, Cage-kun. I thought you were going to go and take pictures, he said, laughing mischievously. There was no ill will in his laughter. Tomotaki-san, do you know what's in there? Kind of. Takano-san told me all about it. Must be a pain to have to go along with your companion's unique hobbies, huh? Tomotaki-san didn't answer that, only responding with a pained smile. Takano-san had this kind of scary air about her, like she'd drop absolutely everything else for something she had interest in and go straight for it, but Tomotaki-san, on the other hand, had seemed like the gold standard for what a normal person should be. Having him tell me so friendly to go check it out suddenly made me feel guilt lighter. Okay, but just a little. If it's not interesting, I'm leaving. You got it. Shion gave me another Mion-like wink. Looks like we're decided. Shall we go inside? Jiro-san, we'll leave this to you. You know, if this story was a little more mature but not quite a hentai, Shion would grab your hand, put it on her boob, and say, okay, you can play with my tits while we're walking through. But then again, nothing would get accomplished because that'd be very, very distracting. But you guys get what I mean. Then again, it was, I'm not being too crass about it because, essentially that's largely the implication that was being made earlier in the story, like 20 minutes ago. Multiple times in several different ways. It's just they're being subtle about it. The inside was pitch black, but Takano-san turned on the battery-powered lantern she brought, revealing a pretty cramped front room. It's so dark in here, everyone take care not to trip over anything. I appreciate the concern. Okay, doorman, keep a good watch. We're shutting the door now. Takano-san smiled spitefully, as if leaving Tomotaki out of something fun, and began to close the door. Man, alright everyone, have fun. There was a low, heavy, and loud noise, and we were completely cut off from the outside world and covered in silent darkness. Takano-san's lantern was the only light we had. It'll be fine. It's an outdoor lantern with backup batteries inside. It won't go out or anything. Looks like Takano noticed my uneasy expression. I couldn't help but blush a little and avert my gaze. Deeper inside, there was a heavy and old but sturdy door with solemn decorations on it. It was the last door, sealing away what was within. Strange how it was an antechamber, even though it was just a warehouse, isn't it? I believe it's set up for this way, so you don't open one door, never letting the room with all the tools be seen from the outside. Takano-san explained this, awfully impressed with the construction. But still, it really is dark in here, huh? That over there, I spotted a circuit breaker hanging from the clump of wiring clumsily attached to a wall. On here isn't the light switch or something? I flipped the biggest switch I find, and with a click, the pitch-black room was illuminated by an old bare light something. And old bare light bulb. Everyone scrunched up their faces as a sudden strobe-like brightness. Don't! Before she even flinched, Shion slapped my hand and flipped the switch back. There was another loud click and the room returned to darkness, with only the lantern for illumination. Ow! You can't, Kei-chan. We snuck in here, remember? If you turn on the light, it might give us away. I'm scolded by Shion fairly harshly. It looked like she was worried about whether someone had seen them from the momentary light. It's all right. It was only for a moment. Takano-san remained a relaxed adult. It seemed like she was confident she could talk her way out of it if someone did see us. Let's go in. Here we go. There. The even heavier door opened, and this time it wasn't just the dust that came out with it. There was also a nasty smell. One smell was like opening a dust-filled cupboard in the back of a kitchen that hadn't been opened in years. And the other smell, the nasty one, was hard to explain, but was like the raw odor of a fish market. From how the sound echoed, this room felt far larger than the first. Takano-san held up her lantern and revealed the contents of the expansive room. Whoa! The back of the wall of the house right in front of us was a Buddha-like holy object, standing there looking down at us. It was taken aback by an unseen force, lit up by the slender beam of the lantern. That's the guardian of Hinamizawa, Oyashiro-sama. It's far grander than the one at the shrine. Oyashiro-sama, this is the spirit protecting Hinamizawa, the one guarding the Holy Land, Hinamizawa, from the impurities of the outside world, and the one delivering punishment upon those who attempted to sully land with the dam construction. It looks like there are far more tools stored here than I thought, but this is so sad. None of us have been maintained. How unfortunate they are in such a state. Even in the dim light, I could see a lot of strange objects lining the walls, ceilings, and shelves. Takano-san, speaking as if in a trance, was infatuated with the various implements filling the dark room. They weren't very festival-like or traditional, but instead there was a more workshop of a blacksmith or carpenter. There were a lot of large wooden and metal tools packed in here. Putting it bluntly, it was all pretty boring stuff. I'd imagine there would be much more artistic things in here from the high-end period, but they are a far cry from being cultural artifacts. My expression betrayed my dashed hopes, and they caught on right away. Oh, is this not interesting for you? I'm not into literature arts, so I can look at this stuff, but I don't really understand its value. Oh, okay, you really look like you don't get it. I guess that's only natural. Takano-san reached into a paper bag that she'd been holding the whole time, took out a worn scrapbook, and began to flip through it. Then, just for you, Kichi, I'll tell you the whole story. It's a common tale in this region. If you go to the library, it would be a more recommended reading list. Telling stories such a dark, creepy place. She must have a horror story in mind. Shion's face belied nothing but calm. If she had the same personality as beyond, she'd have been found fault with me for being scared. I'd endure it for now and pretend to be calm. Okay. Alright, I'll read it. After confirming that I was going to be quiet and listen, she had to speak softly like a kindergarten teacher reading a picture book. Long, long ago in a certain village in the mountains, there was a swamp. This swamp was very, very deep. Some even called it bottomless. People said it was connected to hell and the land of the demons. The rumors said that it was deeper than the ocean, and that anyone who was swallowed would sink into the other world, the bottomless swamp. Its name is Onikafushi. Wait. I thought back to the story I heard yesterday that the sacrifices waiting in the bottomless swamp. Could it be the swamp she's talking about? So, the village was Hinamizawa, right? You catch on quickly. That's right. Though it was called Onikafushi Village at the time. Onikafushi Village. That's a pretty inauspicious name. It evokes quite the image, doesn't it? I hear that the name was changed in the Meiji period. The name of the swamp connected to the hell was called Onikafushi, which meant the demon's abyss. The true name of the village, Hinamizawa, was Onikafushi Village. The villagers belonged to that abyss, or to hell, in other words. They lived their lives worshipping the swamp, said to connect to it. But then one day, the demons began to appear one after another from the deep in the swamp. The villagers feared that hell was overflowing. The demons mercilessly attacked the villagers. They could only watch in fear. They could do no more than hide themselves and tremble. So did someone exterminate them? Unfortunately, there is no Momotaro or Superman in this fairy tale. Then, did they get the whole village together to fight them? Heavens, no. The villagers weren't nearly as strong enough to fight on equal terms with the demons. Then the only recourse would be to flee the village. They couldn't do that either. To the villagers, it was their beloved homeland. It didn't matter how terrified the demons were, they wouldn't have run away so easily. So then, what did they do? Would they just get wiped out? Unable to fight and unable to run, all they could do was wait for the village to be destroyed. Then, when everyone had lost hope, their god, Oyashiro-sama, descended onto them. I see. So Oyashiro-sama came down from the sky and beat up all the demons then. You're such a boy, Kei-chan. You always jump straight to using force to resolve things. Shion sighed, a little annoyed. Embarrassed, I held my tongue. The things around Oyashiro-sama, he wasn't a violent god or would beat them up like you're saying. He was a kind god filled with love and benevolence. The strength of Oyashiro-sama descended from the heavens couldn't be compared to that of demons. They didn't even fight, they simply prostrated themselves before his radiant authority. Oyashiro-sama urged them to go back to hell from which they came, but the demons wept and challenged him, saying they could never return. The world of the demons, too, has harsh commandments. They claimed they had been banished from hell. Demons, who didn't have a place to go either in hell or the human world. Of course, they were at fault for attacking the village. They deeply reflected on it and were sorry. As the villagers conversed amongst themselves, little by little they began to pity the demons, and, after talking with everyone in the village, they decided to live alongside them. A lot of fairy tales have them being exterminated or driven away, but you don't often hear ones where they live in peace. You're right. Demons are supposed to symbolize all evils. A story where they decide to live together with the humans is certainly strange. When the demons first heard the villagers' imitation, they doubted their ears, but soon burst into tears of joy. The villagers had given them a place to live. It was said in them payment for this good deed. The demons shared their many kinds of power and secrets with the villagers. Oyashiro-sama was very pleased with this happy exchange. He gave the demons the bodies of humans so that they would be indistinguishable from the villagers. He himself decided to stay on the surface and watch over the everlasting peace between them, a land in which man, demon, and god lived together. I had thought the word demon was now an evil that needs to be exterminated. A god may have mediated for them, but you don't often hear happy endings like that where both sides live in harmony. I see, I guess it's kind of interesting. Although, the normal fairy tale ends here. It was revised quite a bit during the Edo period into a much longer story. After that, the humans and demons intermixed, and eventually there was no difference between them. So the demons ended up disappearing. No, not at all. Half of them stayed just as they were. The knowledge of the villagers had received from the demons basically made them into something inhuman. What people call transcendent. They were well aware the power they had was heresy, and those below worshipped them. They lived out their lives in secrecy. This story is the root of many derivative tales and pieces of fiction. It's the foundation, I mean. The basis. What do you mean by the root? Which means the part about villagers having demon blood. What I mean is all the villages around here are based on the premise that the villagers are descended from demons. There was a hint of amusement in Shion's face as she said that. It was like she wanted to say that she too had demon blood in her. Is there any proof, though? Maybe it's somehow rooted in historical fact beyond just fairy tales. Oh, Mabra-kun, then you believe demons really did come out of the swamp and breed with humans? Well, if it isn't, I don't believe. But when she said demon, she meant ones from hell. But in Japan, the word wasn't ever used to denote only that kind, right? The more well-known use involves drifting foreigner theory. As the story goes, Westerners who were shipwrecked in nearby seas had such markedly different customs that they were called demons. Japanese people were relatively similar in appearance to other Asians, but everything about those from the West was different: their physiques, their faces, and their skin color. In Japan, terms like red demon and blue demon evoke images, especially of Westerners. Lacking in skin pigments, Westerners would sunburn easily and turn red. Being fair-skinned, I think blood vessels appear on their skin would look blue, too. A handful of accidental aliens would drift into Japan and came under persecution, being called demons. They would flee into the mountains to survive, then into bandit groups and attack villages for food and like. How does that explanation sound? Maybe it is a bit childish. Takano-san gave me a weird smile, then having come to such an impromptu thesis, I unconsciously followed up with self-deprecation. And still, as she didn't smile as if to make fun of me. It's not ridiculous. There are a lot of people who subscribe to the drifting foreigner theory. Even so, nobody actually knows what happened. Were they groups of foreigners who had turned to banditry, or were they really demons who had come up from the bottom of the world? Then, or Takano-san, which one do you believe? The truth of the matter aside, I'd rather believe the more fantastic explanation. It's more fun that way, isn't it? Her answers made such a sound a bit wee like romanticist. Here I thought she'd reject unrealistic stories like that. Now then, this is where the fun begins. Takano-san brought an end to her storytelling and waits for a moment for tantalizes. Suddenly, Shion looks around as if something had caught her eye. Her head bobbled to and fro like she was making sure nothing had changed. What's wrong, Shion? I'm sorry. Please don't worry about it. Shion pretended as though nothing had happened. Takano-san also made sure nothing had happened and cleared his throat to broach the subject. I explained that half the villagers have demon blood. The blood they actually say that's blood of the kind of demon that eats people. Man-eating demons. That escalated quickly. That blood still runs through the villagers' veins. They say that sometimes the blood awakens from its slumber. I thought the fairy tale had a happy ending. The humans and demons live in peace, but it began suddenly changed to a brutal, bloody story. Well, they eat people. They say that every decade or so, they can't help but want to feast on human flesh. The villagers can't eat other villagers. So, when this happens, it's said they descended upon the human villages and conducted onakakushi. What's an onakakushi? Broadly speaking, it's when a demon kidnaps someone, when a person's demoned away. They say the villagers of the Onakafushi would overwhelm unfortunate human villages in order to kidnap sacrifices. Takano-san's explanation was plain and simple, but when I imagined what it must have been like, it was terrifying. They lose their human reason. The villagers turn into real demons en masse. They attack the villages they loathe and the dirty world, the masses below, and then they kill and eat their sacrifices. So they're no different than demons after all. What did Ueshiro-sama do? Wasn't he supposed to be staying in the village watching over them? Ueshiro-sama knew about it, of course. Onakakushi isn't indiscriminate. The villagers apparently never kidnapped anyone other than the sacrifices decided upon by their god. In the text, it's usually one or two people. A village inhabited by both human and inhuman. It was like the heartwarming episode of Colors had been inverted in negative film, revealing the painful and ugly truth. So on the nights when they raided villages, they would feast on the kidnapped sacrifices, which is why the nights came to be known as Watanagashi. The night's festival was Watanagashi. I just couldn't reconcile the fun festival and the horrible tale Takano-san was telling me. Watanagashi, well, wasn't it? Wasn't it about giving thanks to the futons over the use of the winter or something? K-chan. Wada has another meaning, you know. It means entrails. Shion, who had been silent till now, spoke up. Entrails? Oh yeah, I guess that's true. Like fish guts. Wait, what? Like a jigsaw puzzle? The fun times I had today and Takano-san's grotesque tale clicked together in my mind. Watanagashi, so gut spilling.